The two biggest expenses that you'll ever pay for throughout your life are housing and taxes. Today, I'll show you a creative way to pay both a low property tax and a low income tax throughout your life, no matter what state or province you live in. We'll also look at how the states with the lowest taxes actually have the fewest people living there, strangely enough. And I'll show you the best property tax map that I've ever seen today. I'm Get Rich Education founder and Forbes Real Estate Council member Keith Weinhold. The three big taxes that people pay throughout their lives are income tax, sales tax, and property tax. And when you combine those to come up with the highest and lowest property tax burdens, you'll notice that coastal states often pay the most. Coasts attract people, that means they need infrastructure, and it costs tax money in order to maintain that. Interestingly, look at the two states with the lowest tax burdens, Alaska and Wyoming. They have the fewest people living there, under 1 million people each. So where you choose to live, it really has more to do with your overall quality of life. Some people are willing to pay higher taxes for that. And whether you own your home or you rent, you effectively do pay property tax either way because tenants subsidize the landlord's expenses. Now, most property tax maps show the average tax bill that a household pays by state regardless of the real estate values. Well, that's not so useful. This map is smarter. Not only does this break it down further into county, it also shows the property tax paid as a percentage of the home value. So that relative basis here matters more. And now we can transparently see that the highest property taxes are generally paid in the Northeast, much of the Great Plains, and Texas. And what this means, for example, is that a 1% rate is $4,000 a year you'll pay on a property value of $400,000. The lowest are in the West and the nation's southeast quadrant, often under 1%. Lower property taxes, though, they still rarely create investor cash flow out west because purchase prices are too high out west and rents don't keep up with them proportionally. But low taxes adequately sweeten investor advantaged areas. That is the Southeast, Indiana, Missouri, Oklahoma, and a number of the mid-Atlantic states. The nation's lowest property tax rate of them all is in Alabama. Roll Tide. As you can see, it's lighter colored there. All right, well, that is property tax. But states have to get the revenue somewhere. So often, if their property tax is low, it's somewhat more likely that their income tax or sales tax can be high. Now, as far as income tax, each state, of course, has their own. The high ones are in places like New York, New Jersey, California, and Hawaii. The gray states are the ones that have zero state income tax. This shows 8, but there are basically 9 of them with Washington state because their income tax only applies to high earners' capital gains tax income. Well, here's the arbitrage that real estate investors can create. Here's where you can get your advantage. If you live in one state and you own property in another state, you always pay property tax where the property is physically located, not where you live. So you can live in a state with low or no income tax, for example, Texas, and then you can skirt Texas's high property tax by investing in a different state that has low property tax, like Alabama or Tennessee. Well, now both your property tax and income tax are low, and congratulations, you have just legally circumvented taxes. Some other examples of a low tax home state where you live and a low property tax investor state where your investment property actually physically is, so that this way you can get the best of both. They are Texas as your home state, over to Alabama as your investment property state, like I just described, Pennsylvania, your home state, and Missouri, your investor property state, and Washington is your home state, which again is effectively gray, to Arkansas as your investor state. This is how you can live in a low income tax home state and also enjoy having your investment property in a low property tax state. I've got some more important things to tell you about property tax. First, go ahead and put a like on the video if you like how I'm breaking it down, and thanks in advance for the thumbs up. And if you want real estate maps, stories, and investment opportunities that I can't fit onto the channel here, grab them in my free weekly newsletter at greletter.com. Well, to help put this all in perspective, the thing I'm most known for is coining the concept that real estate pays 5 ways. This helps you with numbers 2 and 4, increasing your cash flow and the tax benefit. Property taxes are set at the county or city level, not federally, but within one state, sometimes they can vary fairly dramatically, which the county by county map helps show. In Illinois, Cook County, which is Chicago, and Miami-Dade County, Florida, they have tax rates that make wallets cry as compared to the lower tax rates in their surrounding counties. Some states have legal maximums, ceilings, legal limits on property taxes. California Proposition 13 famously limits property tax to 1% of the assessed value, and the increase amounts are capped as well. This means that 2 California neighbors with identical homes can actually pay wildly different taxes. Florida is looking to completely eliminate property tax. I mean, can you imagine that? You can conceive of how much more desirable that would make Florida properties almost overnight. I mean, that would probably make all Florida housing values skyrocket. Now, a high property tax rate, that doesn't disqualify an investment property deal alone. It is just one consideration. So the bottom line is that as an income property owner, property tax is mostly passed on to your tenant, but still paying a low rate, that's going to keep you more flexible and more profitable. Think of the map like a treasure map, but instead of X marking the spot, it marks where your money will go the furthest. What do you have to say about your state's tax climate? The property tax there, the income tax there, the sales tax? Let me know in the comments. And again, if you want weekly investor insights before they hit the headlines, get my free weekly newsletter. It comes along with my free Real Estate Pays 5 Ways video course, both all at greletter.com. 65-year-olds are about to control America's housing market. Watch that here. And more on how real estate really pays 5 ways here.